Hi, I'm Jack Baruzzini, and you're listening to The Secrets of Stargate, where we talk about the hidden meanings and deeper layers found in the Stargate movies, TV series, and more. And joining me today are Father Cory Sticha. Hi, Father.
Howdy, Jack.
And Lisa Jones. Hi, Lisa.
Hey, Jack.
And Victor Lambs. Hey, Victor.
Hi, Jack.
It is really good to have all four of us together again. I feel like it's been forever since it's been like all of us together, so...
All together now, everybody.
Exactly. Today we are discussing the 5th episode of Season 8 of Stargate Atlantis, Suspicion. In this episode of Atlantis, the Wraith continually attack the away missions from Atlantis, leading the humans from Earth to suspect the Athosians of having a spy among them. Lots of different things happen. We get a lot of good fun with McKay and his massaging his feet, which is the highlight of the episode, in my opinion. Till we finally discover that the entire problem was down to Shepard giving Taylor that necklace. So, yeah. Oopsie.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this episode, Father?
Well, it's an episode. It's an episode where they get rid of the Athosians, because you know that was going to happen eventually. This episode where you kind of go, why exactly didn't they already have secure locations within Atlantis, like from day one?
Yeah.
It's an episode. I don't know. I can say much more than that. It
Not everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Lisa?
Generally, I like this one. I remember it. I like that it is it shows that conflict on the base, and it also gives us some good Wraith. We're back to the Wraith after having all this other stuff going on, and there is a Jinto reference just for you, Victor.
Yes, there is.
And I like the way Atlantis just jumps right in with developing the relationships between the teams, and you see a lot of Taylor and Weir, getting to know each other as leaders, which I liked. So overall, I liked it. There's some middle spots, a lot of talking middle spots where your eyes you just kind of zone out for a few minutes, but overall, I like it.
Yeah. What about you, Victor?
Yeah, I like this episode. There's still world building, and a lot happens in this episode. We go off world like there's 3 times. There's like 3 different Wraith attacks. Mm-hmm. We discover that the Puddle Jumper Bay has a ceiling or a roof that opens up, and they fly around the planet and find land to dump the Athosians on. And we capture Todd the Wraith. So a lot happens in this episode that pays off over the next, the entire run of the show. So I like it. We get some good McKay moments, some good McKay Zelenka moments, some good Shepard moments, some good Shepard Ford moments, some good Shepard Bates moments, some good Bates Weir moments, some good Bates Weird Shepard moments. So I like it. A lot happens. I mean, you compare it to the episode of SG-1 we watched last week, where they don't really show you anything. In this one, they actually show you. They show you, 3 separate Wraith attacks. They show you, puddle jumpers flying around and stuff, and Wraith jail. So that's all pretty cool.
It was funny to watch this right after watching Icon, because Icon felt so cash strapped, and then here it seems like they're like, we're going to show as many Stargate things as possible. We got the ships flying around. We have ringing in and out of different places. We got all the Wraith.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, when they aired these episodes, they were back to back. This would, they would have been the Friday pairing. So
that's rough for SG-1. Yeah, I think I don't know if you've heard this yet. I think I said this last week, but so far I think I'm enjoying Atlantis more than I've enjoyed SG-1, which is
yeah. 8 years of SG-1.
Focus on the good times.
Yes.
Yeah.
They did air back to back.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yay.
So yeah, like you mentioned, Father Cory, this I get that they had to have a like a conflict, but the fact that there seems to be no security protocols in place for like even other members of the Atlantis expedition who don't have the right clearance shouldn't be allowed to go into the control room or just wander around. Like they should have had cordoned off areas to begin with.
Well, I would assume that the Atlantis crew, the ones that came from Earth, would have already had security clearances. They would all, that wouldn't have been an issue there. But you bring this other race on board, these unknown people, and I guess one of my big complaints about this is immediately you get Christopher Heyerdahl getting all, you don't trust us, you don't like us, we don't know you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shinto doesn't like being imprisoned in his room.
Yeah. It's just like, well, they don't know you. Okay, they've learned to trust Taylor, which, by the way, she ends up being the cause of this because of the little thing around her neck that Shepard gave her or found and put on her neck.
Yeah, he activated
it because it was a sensor for the ancient gene. And it's just like, well, technically she was responsible for all this, although not willingly.
Yeah.
But she was the one walking around with this thing around her neck. And oh, by the way, every time she stepped out of the Stargate, it immediately goes, hey, ancient gene, hello, wake up.
Well, it's just funny too. It's like once they finally do dump the Athosians on the mainland, and Taylor's still with them, they're like, phew, at least we've eliminated all possibilities here. And they haven't ruled out Taylor just because, So I think this another name for this episode could have been called like Bates was right. And they even hint at this too, because Bates is being a jerk. He's like saying, we have a security problem. We have to nail these, confine these people, nail them to the wall and stuff. And Shepard's like, no, you're out of order. You go to your room. And we even call Shepard out. And it's just like, look, I told him to do this. And then Shepard's like,
I appointed him as the chief of security, not you.
Yeah.
It's like,
so
he's doing his job.
Yeah, and he comes up with the solution of putting the Athosians on the mainland, which they want to do anyway. So
yeah, I will say that there was that creepy. Maybe think back to the first episode, Rising, and there was the creepy Shepard invading her personal space to put it on her neck. Remember? Yep. And so now I wonder, did they do that? Did they know it was creepy? Did they do it on purpose so that we would remember it? Because we remembered it.
Oh yeah, and they even showed it in case they weren't sure.
Yeah.
But and there's that whole scene where Bates brings in Taylor's stuff and throws it on McKay's desk, and of course he's all righteously indignant. Why? How dare you? How dare you make me do this?
Yeah.
And of course, next scene it's like Bates was right.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think that's a common theme throughout Atlantis, though, with Bates, is that he's always the jerk. I mean, he's always the one that's standing up and saying, "Wait."
He's just asking people to follow protocol. And
exactly.
The funny thing is, like, he is presented as like the jerk throughout this episode, but as soon as they discover the actual cause, he's there helping them. He's not being a jerk anymore because he's just acting in a professional manner, not letting his feelings get in the way of what he's doing.
What?
Yeah, I thought this was a really good Malazzi and Mully episode because we do get a lot of really good character interactions. And we get some funny Rodney moments. Like he starts off and the very first thing he does is he gets hit in the head with a Wraith, like stun blaster. Yeah. And he does the whole Bill Cosby, like, I can't feel my face thing. It's like, I can't talk. It's like, and you can't talk either. So we get some good comedy
kind of how you feel when you get out of the dentist chair.
Yeah. And I loved that the subtitles said what he was trying to say.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So like I'm watching and I have the subtitles on, and so I'm just reading it, and then it dawns on me like, I probably never knew what he said because you can't understand it.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I imagine getting hit with that would be like when you smack your funny bone, but your entire body.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we get that hard cut where he's got his besocked foot up on the table and he's like massaging his feet right in Shepard's face. No, yeah, even though plot-wise this episode it had some holes in it, they weren't really bad, and the character moments are really what makes it.
I mean, there's some definitely entertaining aspects to it. I mean, this still is definitely not my favorite episode, but there's definitely some interesting parts, and of course getting to see the planet. This first time we actually get to see the whole planet. and they fly around it, and finding the land. And those is like, hey, we'll figure it out. Cool, have at it.
Yeah. And there's another good McKay moment there where, they say, how big is it? And Shepard or Ford replies back like, well, it's about 15, million square miles, which is, I looked it up. It's like twice the size of Russia and then some. And,
wow.
And then in the control room, they turn to McKay and say, like, how big is that? He says, well, it's, and he doesn't know. And he says, well, it's big.
Yeah.
Something. Yeah.
It's like, it's as big as, I don't know.
Yeah.
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 And I think North America is like 9 million square miles. So it's bigger. It's almost twice as big as North America.
Yeah.
Canada, US, and Mexico. So, I mean, that's big. Really
Yeah,
big.
It's a lot of land.
A lot of land.
And I guess I hadn't realized that they hadn't been able to fly the puddle jumpers just around the planet. Like, they came in through the gate room, but I guess I hadn't connected. Oh, they can't get them out of the city yet. So it's fun to see that. And I assume it's going to lead to some more exploration of the actual planet.
Oh, yeah. Including a really good McKay episode coming up. But yeah, no, we do get some good Zelenka McKay moments where McKay is again about food, talking about how much he owns. He enjoys the MREs.
Yeah, that's
Hospital food, MREs, everything.
Yeah.
But not airline food because they don't give you big enough portions.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. We get to see, Roddick is starting to come into his own pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yep.
And trigger something, and you're like, oh no, what's going to happen now? And it turns out it's just opening up the sunroof on the tower there. So,
yeah, I assumed it was about to just warp them away somewhere else, but
yeah,
it was a good thing. Guess I've been conditioned by strange technology going off in Stargate usually means something bad.
Yeah.
Well, and they almost lead you into that, right? Because they don't know who is attracting the Wraith. Is there a saboteur on Atlantis? All of that, and then they trigger something in the puddle jumper, and you're like, "Uh-oh, where are we?" You're like, "What just happened?"
Yep.
But no, it's just the sunroof.
I did notice something funny on the when I was researching for this episode on the wiki that apparently this episode was written by Cary Glover, who was the script coordinator for Stargate Infinity. So, and this is the only script he wrote for the show.
Oh yeah, wrote the story. Yeah,
so
that's funny.
I mean, given the reputation that Infinity has, it was a fine episode.
Yeah, did he do this before or after Infinity? Probably. I think Infinity would have been. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know anything.
I think this is a little after, or maybe concurrent.
I will admit, I've never watched Stargate Infinity, so
I think I watched the first episode.
Yeah,
maybe
we'll have to do that.
What do we?
Yeah, we have to. We can't call ourselves the Secret of Stargate and claim to be about all the Stargate movies, TV shows. What else? And more.
If we skip one.
Yeah.
I think that is included in the and more.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing I won't be here for that one.
Yeah.
I'm
I don't
sure.
Yeah.
We'll just have to make sure we schedule that whenever you're back.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Right. Well, there's always next year's April Fools.
True.
Which, by the way, if you want to hear this year's April Fools, you could go hear all about Stargate Origins and how wonderful that was. Yay. Well, for those who haven't heard, because apparently we're stretching the episode. No, I'm kidding. I've been so inspired by Stargate that I am joining the Air Force chaplaincy. It's something I've wanted for a very long time, and I don't know when I'm going in. We were actually just having a conversation before recording. When am I going in? Only God and the military knows, and I don't know who knows closer, God or the military. But yeah, it's something I wanted for a very long time, and my bishop said, okay. And I called the recruiter the next day, sign me up. So
that is awesome. And you're definitely going to be missed. So
yes.
I assume you're going to be working on a deep space telemetry, right?
Right.
Oh, yes. Deep space, obviously, in Cheyenne Mountain. I wish.
Gosh, wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah.
Because you'll be a chaplain for the Space Force as well, right? Or
yes. Yeah. So just like, like the Navy chaplains and medical and things like that, work for the Marines. Well, now with the Space Force being a branch of the Department of Air Force, they don't have their own chaplains and medical, so Air Force will handle that. So yeah, there's a possibility I could be at Vandenberg and become the first priest to celebrate Mass on the Moon or something like that.
That
which
would be awesome.
Sweet.
That'd
be sweet.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, kind of the consequences of this is I had to, if you're not subscribed to the StarQuest newsletter, first of all, why not? SQPN.com.
It's free.
If you're not on the StarQuest Discord where we talked about it, again, why not? SQPN.com/Discord. I have to, unfortunately, because I'm doing this, I had to resign from the chaplaincy for SQPN, the SQPN board chaplain. Father Jason Tyler is now our new chaplain from down in Arkansas. And then I will most likely not be doing any podcasting or do very, very little. Obviously, during officer training school, they won't let me do podcasts. that might not go over too well.
No.
Officer Trainee Sticha, what do you mean you're going to do a podcast? No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, after you get settled, does this mean that SQPN is going to add like the secrets of the military or something?
Ooh.
I don't know. I can't promise that my schedule is going to allow any. I have no idea what my schedule is going to look like once I get settled, or where I'm going to be settled, or what I'm going to be doing other than being a chaplain. So
yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, I could be at the undisclosed location somewhere in Southeast Asia, if you remember those phrases.
Oh, Laos or Cambodia, yes, where we had no bases.
That's Southeast, yeah. Southwest, I was thinking, but yeah, same difference.
You can do the voice changer and just like mask out the screen.
Yeah.
And our very special guest who's
or just have a dark room with just like one little light shining in my face, like an interrogation.
Tell us the truth about this episode now.
Yeah.
Or if they have a new series, you could be the Air Force advisor to come on and say you wouldn't salute cool. That way.
I could do that.
Your uniform's the wrong shade of blue.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Or wrong shade of camo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we don't put a big X on the back of them.
Yeah, we don't play video games on duty.
Well, 2 of those 3 are accurate.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, you'll definitely be missed, and we'll try to have you on as much as your schedule allows, or as much as you are able.
Well, I appreciate that. I do hope that I can come back on once in a while, maybe for something special or where schedule applies or what have you.
Stargate Infinity.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I said special, not painful.
I did look. It aired in 2002 to 2003. So yes, by Atlantis, it was already
done.
They threw him a bone.
So to get back to the episode, one thing we didn't talk about is their attempt to capture the Wraith.
Ooh,
they tased the Wraith warrior.
Yes. They explain what a taser is.
Oh my gosh.
And I wasn't surprised it didn't work given the abilities of the Wraith, but that was a pretty cool sequence of just how they did that. They had the flashbang grenades, which he also did explain in detail, which I thought was funny. The tasers, and then of course the guy just uses his self-destruct and blows himself up.
Yeah, they turn him over and he immediately taps the button on his chest. It's like, uh-oh, gone.
Yeah. I mean, that whole sequence, you're watching it, it's like, this is a really bad idea. I mean, I know that, so they know that the Wraith can track the device, so they're looking for what advantage does that give us? Hey, we could capture Wraith and study it stuff. And you're like, this is a really bad idea. And even at the end, when the Wraith is in the cell, right? And Shepard's kind of taunting it and saying, you're going to get hungry. I'm going to go get a sandwich. You're like, this is not going to end well for anybody on Atlantis. Like, you don't bring a Wraith home.
Why do you want to tell them that Atlantis is back and populated and it's a feeding ground? Like, why do you want to do that?
Yeah, you put like a zipper hood over them, right? And take them to one of your black ops sites.
Yeah. I mean, I understand why they wanted to capture a Wraith, because they want to get intel. They want to learn how to, what they know. They want to learn how can they stop them, not just do the thing where they shoot the warrior and then he immediately sits up and starts firing again, but actually stop them, without blowing them into little tiny bits, things like that. So I can understand that. But yeah, they could have done that a whole lot differently.
Well, just like, especially all this comes about because they just discovered this strange piece of technology they don't understand that had been transmitting the whole time. It's like, what do you think the Wraith might have?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah. I've got like 4 implants that also like via subspace relay my location to the hive
we've
ship.
totally
Yeah.
never seen that in like every Stargate episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got this strange device, like this mirror. What happens if I touch it? Oh, now I'm in an alternate universe. I wonder how that happened.
I just also want to know where the Wraith get all that PVC for their coats.
Oh, yeah.
The Matrix style coats.
That's the skin of their victims. No.
Yeah.
The special leather.
The vinyl mines of Ambrosia 4 or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
But to their credit, though, they don't just like capture the Wraith and then like forget about him until like the end of the season or something, like other shows might do. It's like, hey, remember that Wraith we captured in episode 6? They do come back to it, and they are looking for a way to stop the Wraith. Pretty much all throughout the season.
Yeah.
You said this one was Todd. Is this one Todd?
Oh, is it not Todd? Maybe it's not Todd.
I don't know. That's what I was wondering. I'm like, are we already at Todd?
I think Todd doesn't come till later.
As I say, spoilers, that we do see several Wraiths who play important parts.
Yeah.
We then get names.
Oh, I guess
Often
Todd
by
doesn't show up
Shepard.
till season 3. Sorry.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because
Yeah, but Shepard
Shepard's
does
often the
give
one
them
who
names.
names them, so.
Yeah. Yeah, not that Wraith their name Todd. Like,
Yeah.
that's Shepard's idea.
Not
of it.
Ford, because Ford's not allowed to name anything.
That's true. They did that
Todd
again.
will later be played by Christopher Heyerdahl, and this one is not clearly played by Christopher Heyerdahl, but
That's what struck me was he didn't remind me of, I hate to say different Wraith look differently, but like it didn't remind me of Todd. I was like, is that Todd?
Yeah.
Are we already there?
sorry, I thought this was Todd, but it's not. Sorry.
He's clearly not Michael, because he's not Connor Trenier, so.
Yeah.
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 Oh,
Yeah.
we get him
Todd,
on.
Michael.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
No,
I
it's
don't
all
want to
good.
be racist against the Wraith or anything. But
A
Wraithist.
Wraithist.
Wraith.
I guess that'd be speciesist.
Speciest, yes.
Speciesist.
Well, yeah, buggist.
Maybe.
You buggist. I did like that while they're trying to capture him, they completely lose Taylor in the process.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and no one's like, where is she? What happened? And she's fighting one all on her own,
She's
with
gotta have
the
her
sticks.
Well, you got
her
Ford,
crouching
who's like,
tiger, hidden
okay.
dragon moment.
Yeah. Well, then you got Ford, who's like, well, I really need to be with you. Oh, but if you're with me, they won't come out.
Yeah.
Well, if you insist,
Yeah.
I'll wait here. It's like, dude, you got told that she could possibly be a spy, and you're letting her walk off on her own. Seriously?
Suspicious.
Like, why don't you hide in the bushes behind her and lay down?
follow
have,
her.
yeah.
Yeah.
Especially
ways
since
you can do
Tala
this.
just said like, "Oh, you were alone on the planet." It's like, well, yes, I wanted to talk to some secret friends while I was there.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you could see how that would be a little suspicious. He's like, I thought this was an interview, not an
interrogation.
Blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. And then it's like the first thing Taylor does when she gets to the planet is like, I want to go off by myself. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. That's
For
my
saying
Taylor
you're not
impression.
shifty, you guys are
Yeah, I
kinda
know.
acting shifty.
Mm-hmm.
It is, and I know we kind of skipped to the end and we're looping back around because that's how we do things here. But Taylor is pretty on board with the entire plan, and I think that's good from her standpoint as a leader of the Athosians. But
Yeah.
at the same time, the whole interrogation process and tracking everything was so disorganized. Like, they leave her out of the loop of everything, and
Right.
I
Mhm.
guess you could explain that as, well, if she's like the ringleader, then you don't want to bring her in. But they all talk so much about how they trust her, they don't even need to bother with her. It's like, well, if you trust her, then why don't you get her help?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Have her
Mhm.
sitting there at the table with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, get some background on everybody. It is interesting because in SG1, when they brought Teal'c in, there were, in the first season, there were episodes right away about how Teal'c had to prove himself
Mhm.
to be part of the team and how he was selected to be part of the team and kind of the pushback and all that. There was none of that with Taylor.
Yeah.
We never even had a episode or a moment where they said, oh, she should join was going to say SG-1, whatever they call
Atlantis 1 or yeah.
One, yeah. Like there's none of that. She just appears with them on a mission. And so to me, this was kind of that episode where she had to prove herself and to become part of the team.
Yeah. And to that point, we never even really see where they determine that it's going to be Shepard, Ford, McKay, and Taylor as kind of like the team. Like they never say, well, we'll need a scientist.
I thought there was an episode where Weir told Shepard to pick his team. Like early on,
okay.
like right at the
very
like
first,
right at the promo, right at the beginning.
Yeah.
The pilot.
Maybe they did then, yeah.
Yeah,
so but we never saw him like
discussion.
actually choosing the team. It just was, you get to pick your team. Oh, cool. And that's where we ended up with them. So,
because I always found it odd that Taylor was supposed to be the leader of her people, but yet she immediately, I don't want to say leaves her people, but she kind of
it was weird.
deserts them and like takes off with Shepard and McKay and them.
At least, I guess, now they kind of make it sound like at the end where she's a liaison now between her people on the mainland and Atlantis. So
yeah. And just a note, like if you're the leader of a people and your people are all meeting secretly in a room without you and don't tell you, that's not a good sign.
No.
So it's
and they're not planning your birthday party or anything. Yeah.
Yeah. I think Jinto's dad is definitely now the leader.
Yeah.
Yep. And we also get there's that scene where they all are leaving after we get that, oh no, we're going to kick them off and send them to the mainland. And then they come up and like, hey, we want to go to the mainland. So it's not really an issue. Yeah. But where she's like up on the catwalk watching them leave and she's wearing an Atlantis uniform. It's like, are you just trying to like make them hate you even more? Because that's probably working.
Yeah, she's not wearing the leathers and stuff that everybody else is, the suede that everybody else is. Oh no, she's wearing one of their uniforms.
Yep.
They quickly kind of separated her from her people. And I guess that's you have to make it work as the team and all that. But it just happened so differently than in SG-1 with Teal'c. And it's almost like you're like, okay, Taylor's one of them now. It's fine.
Yep.
Yeah. And the mainland that they're sending him to, they say, well, it's 25 minutes by puddle jumper, but that's probably like a 3-month voyage by like a sailing vessel or something.
Yeah.
Like, and like, are they leaving them with a Stargate on there or a spare puddle jumper?
They're leaving with comms is what they're leaving them with.
Yeah.
Because that was part of it where I think Weir said something about, you're willing to basically strand yourself without a Stargate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And they're like, yes, just get us out of here.
Yeah. Get us away from you crazy people.
And your energy beings that roam the halls at night.
They want to play Wraith versus Shepard in the actual woods. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
Nice. Yeah. Awesome. I guess on that note, did y'all have any other thoughts about this episode?
Nothing here.
No, I just appreciated that like so much happened and they put so much of it on the screen. It was a nice change.
Yeah,
I hadn't even thought about
special effects.
Yeah,
I hadn't thought about it in relation to last week's episode until you said that, and that made me sad. It makes me all the more sad for SG-1 season 8.
They get new carpeting in season 9.
Maybe I should join the military or do something where I can't come back for season 9.
Lisa is at McMurdo base.
Or I really was chasing you off.
Yeah.
It'll just be me and Victor sadly talking about it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Jack, what happened in this episode? Nothing.
Nothing. What's the name of it in German?
Yeah.
Speaking of alternate language titles, do we have any for this episode?
Not really. Most of the it was all suspicion or suspicions. In German, though, we get unter Verdacht, which is under suspicion. So that also works. But
Nice.
nothing super crazy.
Nothing really
like
fun.
the Wraith's name is not Todd or anything like that.
Or Taylor is the traitor.
Yeah.
Question mark.
Oh, this one's Steve. That's the name that Shepard calls this one.
Okay,
Steve.
this is Steve.
Steve.
Okay, yeah.
Nice.
I love
Yeah,
it.
we get Steve, Todd,
Michael, and
Mike,
Todd.
Yeah.
Sound like
And we do
boy
get
band.
Ford trying to name the planet, right? And he has to call it like Atlantica or something, and Shepard has to chastise him and said, "I thought we said you were not going to name
Not
anything."
going to name anything.
Was that a subtle dig at Battlestar Galactica, which was on at the same time?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
Probably not. It was probably just, Atlantis, Atlantica, Antarctica, kind of
They
that.
needed to come up with a bad name, right? So
True. Awesome. We do have some couple bits of
nice.
feedback.
Nice.
We have a comment all the way back on episode 102. That was on Summit. Georgius Rex, which is an awesome YouTube name, says, "The disguise pheromone stuff seemed so overpowered. It should have been in more future episodes, but I liked refreshing the roster of system lords. Suppose Daniel lose the poison, but could not rescue Osiris / his girlfriend. If he was troubled by killing her, could he go to confession without revealing the existence of the Goa'uld and such? Would they have to get a chaplain with a security clearance?"
There you go.
So our future
This is what Father Cory
Space
is doing.
Force
This is what I'm going to do.
chaplain.
No.
Yes.
I'm absolutely not going to do this. This definitely is not going to happen when I'm in the Air Force. I'm totally going to be at a normal base in a normal place where I'm totally not going to have to deal with issues of aliens coming through the Stargate. No, absolutely not. In a theoretical world where things like Stargates and Goa'uld exist, not saying this one is, I would assume that, yes, if he was a Catholic and ended up having to kill her, that he would have to go to confess to a priest. Now, to be fair, priests are required to maintain absolute secrecy of anything confessed. So, I mean, first of all, how would the Air Force even know that that an unsecured priest had heard this confession?
Mhm.
But no, I would assume that in a situation like this, if Daniel goes to, Jack or General Hammond or somebody like that and says, "I really need to go to confess this," they'll find a priest who's got a top secret SCI security clearance. They'll make sure of that.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, that is. I've never thought about that. I would assume that has probably happened. Maybe not with aliens, or who knows, maybe. But
legitimate, secure information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like if an allied spy had to shoot like a German family to get the Enigma machine, and like the only priest around was like a French priest, and he said, "Yeah, I had to shoot this German family to get the Enigma machine."
I was thinking something a little less severe is like murder, but more like theft. Like,
oh well, there you go.
I've stolen secure information from a secure facility. I have documents at home that are top secret, and I should not have things like that.
Yeah.
Something a little more mundane than, a spy killing someone and then confessing it.
Well, I like where you went with that, though, Victor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Awesome. And we do have another comment on episode 119, which is Prometheus. J.E. commented, "I've been listening to the SQPN podcast for about a month. Really enjoying it.
Thank you. Welcome.
This is my... Oh, sorry. This is my first time seeing everyone. Howdy from Houston, Texas, near the NASA Johnson Space Center." He said that he used to work at the JSC Aerospace Company, and he retired from there several years ago.
Oh, fun. That's awesome.
So, yeah.
Yep.
Glad you joined us.
Waving at him from across Houston.
Nice.
So.
Cool.
We're glad you're here. Hope you're enjoying the ride.
And I'm waving to you the exact far north as you can go from Houston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you saying you don't believe in Alaska?
Well, and still be in the continental U.S. anyways.
Yeah, the real United States.
Canada doesn't exist, so.
It's just a myth.
Real North America. No, yeah. And I noticed that on YouTube, we have a lot of new listeners so who are catching up on the show and catching up on our podcast as well. So welcome. Although if you're just catching up on our show, it'll probably be many months before you hear this.
That's true.
So greetings from
So
the past.
when you've binged to this point, welcome. We're glad you're joining
Yes.
us.
If you're still with us, welcome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yes. Thank you so much, J.E. and Georgius Rex, for your comments. YouTube really does seem to be the place to go for that. So if you want to check out the show, and that way you can also see us in all our glory, I guess.
Yeah.
Between Google Podcast shutting down and YouTube Music really kicking in, I wonder if that's driving a lot of people to see this. Which we're glad you're watching us. Those of you who are watching it, we're glad you're here.
Yeah, and you can check all that out at youtube.com/SQPN. That's where the channel is.
And somebody said they're doing video now on Spotify as well, so you can maybe see us on
really?
Spotify. Is that true? Like
I think these are. I think
that.
any of our shows that are live, you can watch on Spotify as well.
I will have to check after the show.
Yeah.
So, but that's cool. Awesome. Before we go, we'd like to take a moment to thank our patrons who make it possible for us to create The Secrets of Stargate, including Andreas S., Jesse K., Megan F., Patrick W., and Paul B. Their generous donations at sqpn.com/give make it possible for us to continue The Secrets of Stargate and all the shows at StarQuest. And you can join them by visiting sqpn.com/give. And be sure to follow the show on Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or if you're using YouTube Music or YouTube, you can find those versions at youtube.com/StarQuestMedia. To find previous episodes of Secrets of Stargate and to send us feedback, you can visit sqpn.com/Stargate. You can email us at stargate@sqpn.com and follow StarQuest on social media at facebook.com/StarQuestMedia or on Twitter at SQPN. And we'll be back next time when we'll be discussing the next episode of SG-1, Avatar. Not the blue people or the kid with the blue stripe. A third Avatar. Until then, Father Cory, thank you for joining me and sharing the secret to Stargate.
Thank you, Jack.
And Lisa Jones, thank you as well.
Thanks, Jack.
And Victor Lambs, thank you too.
Thanks, Jack. And you're just checking out the planet. Oh, never mind then. That's cool. I mean, I've got better things to do than cruise around the planet in a spaceship.
I'll bring you a turkey sandwich.
Yay!
And once again, I'm Jack Baruzzini. Thank you for listening to The Secrets of Stargate on StarQuest.
Anyway, I'm sorry, but that just happens to be how I feel about it. What do you think?